We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn, and the above entitled action upon our oaths.
It's the verdict the entire country has been waiting for after months of graphic and sometimes X-rated testimony in the Jodi Arias murder trial. It included an admission from Jodi that she killed her boyfriend, Travis Alexander, she says, in self-defense. The jury makes their decision.
Do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder, guilty.
Jubilation outside the courtroom seconds after the verdict was read, and Travis's family and friends believe it's time for Jodi to die for her crimes.
If what she did to Travis does not justify the death penalty in America today, then why do we have one?
Tonight, Fox 10 is the only news outlet in the country to talk to Jodi Arias one-on-one just moments after she heard the verdict.
I said years ago that I'd rather get death than life, and that still is true today.
It took the jury 4 days of deliberation, about 15 hours, to decide that Jodi Arias was guilty of first-degree murder.
The 8 men, 4 women, they did not buy her claim that the murder was in self-defense. For many, today's verdict was not a surprise. Many expected the jury to come back with a guilty verdict.
And that includes Jodi herself. Fox 10's Troy Hayden was the only reporter in the country to talk to Jodi Arias just moments after the jury read the verdict, and he is live tonight with his exclusive interview. Troy, this took place right there in the courthouse, right?
Right downstairs. And Carrie, I looked Jodi Arias in the eyes just 20 minutes after she learned she'd been convicted of first-degree murder. And as you asked, that interview happened in the holding cells that are down underneath the court building. She walked out, she looked shaken, she was crying. I asked her if she was sure she was ready to do this, and she said yes. And so in a rambling 45-minute interview, we went over a case that has captured the country's attention. A couple of minutes ago, you heard the verdict from the jury. What are your thoughts?
I think I just went blank. I don't know. I just feel overwhelmed. I think I just need to take it a day at a time.
Was it unexpected, you think, this verdict?
It was unexpected for me, yes, because there was no premeditation on my part. I can see how things look that way, but I didn't expect the premeditation. I could see maybe the felony murder because of how the law is written, but I didn't. The whole time I was fairly confident I wouldn't get premeditation because there was no premeditation.
It seemed like some of those jurors didn't believe what you were telling them, didn't believe your story. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
I can understand that, I think, because of the lies that I told in the beginning to try to cover up this, cover up that, hide things that I didn't want to be known, made public. I don't know that I have a direct message for the jury. I know that I prayed constantly for every single one of them, so that's the jury that was brought to me. That's the jury that I was meant to have.
So you prayed for the jury?
I prayed prior to trial that the right jurors would be on my jury. So I just have to believe that those were the right jurors.
Are you focusing on the court, or are you focusing on what could be the worst outcome for you?
Well, the worst outcome for me would be natural life. I would much rather die sooner than later. Longevity runs in my family, and I don't want to spend the rest of my natural life in one place. You know, I'm pretty healthy, I don't smoke, and I would probably live a long time. So that's not something I'm looking forward to. I said years ago that I'd rather get death than life, and that still is true today. I believe death is the ultimate freedom, so I'd rather just have my freedom as soon as I can get it.
So you're saying you actually prefer getting the death penalty to being in prison for life?
Yes.
The Alexander family, especially the 2 sisters and the younger brother, if you could say something to them, what would you like to say to them?
I hope that now that a verdict has been rendered, that they're able to find peace, some sense of peace. I don't think they'll ever find the peace that they would like, but maybe they'll be able to have greater peace now, or some semblance of it, and be able to move on with their lives and remember their brother the way they wanted to. just the way everything happened, I think that if I had just been honest from the beginning, I'd be in a different place. And so would everyone else. And because of what I've done, a lot of people will hurt for a long time.
A lot of people who have talked to me about it have said, how could she have gone up and been with another man, you know, basically 24 hours after this? How are you able to put that behind you and basically go on a date?
I don't think I so much put it behind me as I just sort of checked out. I hardly remember that day. I don't remember it being nearly as intimate as he described. I remember falling asleep and taking a nap, and he was laying next to me. I remember feeling, it's strange, but I remember feeling safe. It's not like I went up there because I was hoping to pursue a relationship. I went up there because I thought, oh crap, I need to keep my schedule. So I went up there almost because I felt a sense of obligation inside in order to keep up the pretense, not because I was going off to have fun.
So if you had to do this all over again, you're in the desert, you notice that you've got blood on your hands, how do you handle it?
I would turn around and drive to the Mesa Police Department.
And what do you think would have happened to you then?
I don't know, but it would have been the right thing. Because of what I've done, a lot of people will hurt for a long time.
What I hear from women a lot is if she was getting beat up, why didn't she call the police?
That's probably what you hear from women who have not been in my situation and been abused. I think at that time, if I can put myself back in that mind frame at that time, my fear of calling the police is that I would be seen as overly dramatic, or I would make an enemy of Travis, and I really just wanted us to be able to be friends, ultimately.
Do you still think about Travis?
Yes.
In what way?
There's a lot of regret because I was really hoping to get a plea and avoid talking about all of the things that came out about him. If we had been able to avoid trial, we could have avoided just the murkier aspects of his life that he kept hidden. And these aren't just things that came from my mouth. They're his own words, his own emails, his own text messages, the activities that he was up to, photographs that show that as well. None of that ever would have come to light. It would have just been forgotten, and he would be memorialized as not perfect by any means, but somebody who was known to adhere to his morals and the principles that he espoused. But now the curtain has been drawn, and you can see the hypocrisy and everything that was there, and I regret that because I know that even though he was living the life of a hypocrite, that's not how he wanted to be perceived, and I think inside he really didn't want to live that kind of life.
There were some parts of your story that were definitely backed up by emails and texts and phone conversations and things like that, but a lot of people had real issues with the pedophilia when that was brought up. How do you respond to that?
Well, again, I mean, he's fantasizing about having sex with a 12-year-old on a tape. That's a pedophile by definition.
Let's go forward. Say you do get a long sentence. How are you going to spend your life?
I haven't decided yet.
So we've yet to see if she gets death or life. Jodi's now on suicide watch at Joe Arpaio's Australia jail. She'll not be able to give any other interviews for some time, and we have more coming up in about a half an hour. I talked to her about her Twitter page she set up, making eye contact with Travis's family, so a lot more coming your way in about 20 minutes, John and Carrie.
Troy, many people have theorized that she went there with the intent of trying to salvage the relationship with Travis, and then when he would not take her back, then it went into a deadly murderous turn. Did she ever address that, what her reason was to go see him that day?
The bottom line is she stuck to every bit of her story that she had in the courtroom, from the gas cans to just getting there and having an abuse. You know, she said again that she didn't remember anything that went on with the stabbing. She didn't vary at all from her story when we talked about it today from the courtroom.
I can't help but think that after all the lies that were told on the witness stand, that when she said she prefers the death penalty over life in prison, that she's hoping the jury will hear this and there's some sort of manipulation going on. And I know that a lot of people are talking about that on social media tonight, that they feel this is a manipulative way of maybe the jury will do the opposite of what she asks.
Well, the jury, if they're following their admonition, they're not supposed to watch any of this, so they should never hear what's going on at all. But I wouldn't put anything past Jodi. As we saw in the courtroom, she does manipulate people. I don't know if that's what she's doing now, but I know a lot of people are talking about it.
Did you sense she really did want the death penalty over life in prison?
It's tough to know. I don't know her. I met her once in January, talked to her for about 45 minutes, and talked to her about 45 minutes today. All I know is what I learned in the courtroom with everybody else.
Troy, what about genuine remorse? We never really heard her say, I am so sorry for all of this and the pain I have caused so many people. I wish I could take it back.
Yeah, I kept waiting for that, and instead I heard more about how she wasn't happy with her defense team and how things weren't brought up. And I kept waiting for that moment of, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. I just want to tell Travis's family I'm so sorry. That didn't come out today.
Didn't happen.
Maybe
that gave her some opportunities.
Next stage in the sentencing, maybe that will come out of
Possibly.
Jodi's mouth. Troy, great job. You've been covering this since the very beginning, and really interesting interview. Thanks for bringing us that.
You got it, guys.